are calling about gay rights, yikes. You are heading straight to hell. God hates fags. God hates fag enablers. Therefore, God hates you. You cannot change that standard of God. It doesn't matter if you can get this entire goofy, disobedient nation to agree with you. It doesn't matter how many gay pride parades you hold. God hates fags. Therefore, at this hour, when the destruction of this land is all around you, when you have turned the country over to the fags, you're all shortly coming home in body bags. The Lord is coming. America is doomed.
It's just so much hate in one little voicemail.
Do they actually think like that, or is it just like a media thing?
Being a person who's gone to church so much, the branch of Christianity I'm in is the branch called Methodist, and the motto is open minds, open hearts, open doors.
Like classic radical extremist, like prolific. I mean, I just think it's another case of absurdity.
Just right off the back too, she's just like automatically like, yikes. How is that legal?
It's just really sad to see how people are so closed-minded. Why can't you just love everyone?
Who taught them that? Who taught them to think like that?
Jesus said to treat others the way you want to be treated, to just respect everyone, to treat people well.
I think sexual orientation is the way you put yourself out there.
The gender or genders you're attracted to, basically.
No matter what, you will always have an attraction towards something, and you can't change that. Even though I'm straight, I know people who are gay, bisexual, pansexual, and you can't change that.
At least for me, I think there's a definite, I think there's a split between like romantic orientation and sexual orientation. I think they're very different, but people don't think that.
Defines how like you're attracted, or who or how like you're attracted to certain people, or how you're not attracted to other people.
I find myself describing it in different ways, and basically how I end up describing it is based on how long I have to actually explain it to people. If people have 2 seconds, I say that I'm bisexual, which is accurate. If they are a little more nuanced when it comes to the idea of queer culture, I'll say that I'm queer because it has a little more variation in it. If I have a lot of time, and this is a friend that is asking me, I will introduce them to the Kinsey curve, which ranks sexuality on a scale from 0 to 6. I know it's weird assigning a number to your sexuality, but I mean, 6 options is a lot better.
For the people who don't approve of it, the person coming out would face a lot of backlash.
Were you ever scared to come out? Yeah, I was. I'll admit that. I guess I was scared to come out to my family. Not my mom, because her sister's gay, but my dad, because he just doesn't really have an understanding of these things too much.
It's always an uncertainty because you don't know how people will react.
There's no judgment. There are a lot of people, even in this school, that are very judgmental. I remember there was one girl, and she was dating a girl. She was in my class, and we went into class, and there's a little corner, and they're like, "Did you see she was with a girl? She's a lesbian." People are so derogatory towards the terms, and they don't want to have to deal with that.
Stuff like the stigma around LGBTQ plus or just being queer. I think a lot of the cases of where people are afraid to come out definitely come from religious or traditional backgrounds in which they think their family will shame them or their community will shame them.
As of the repercussions of the close ones, like family and friends, they might not approve of it, and some people actually are being scared they'll get kicked out, or they won't have anywhere to go anymore, or they'll just lose people that they don't want to lose.
No, I wasn't, because I never actually did come out. My mom is bisexual and has had girlfriends and boyfriends, and I live in San Francisco. So I come from a very unusual background where it was never assumed that I was straight. It was a very, very supportive, very, very supportive environment that I actually came out to, even though it didn't actually happen. On the other hand, I completely understand how it is difficult to come out when you do not have my background. I am definitely the outlier when it comes to this case. I was very, very lucky. You totally risk rejection from some of your closest friends and closest family when you end up coming out, and it's a very, very scary process. The only thing I will tell you is that when you come out, you are going to be shocked by how many gay allies randomly just appear in your friend group.
Ignorance. That's just it. Ignorance.
It comes from a place of not understanding, and just placing yourself out of it, and like finding an excuse for the things that you think are wrong in the world.
I don't believe that it changes over time. You just more discover yourself.
How people say they've always known.
I think it's just such a strong feeling that they have about themselves, and to be so sure about that part of your life has to have been a part of you since you were born. And it's like being born with brown or curly hair, like it's always been there.
Completely honest, these people are wrong, and it's hard to negotiate with somebody that is so clearly incorrect. As far as choosing your sexuality goes, I tell the same thing to cisgendered straight males all the time, is that if you really think that you can choose to be gay or choose to be bisexual, I challenge you to try to be gay for a month. If you can be gay for an entire month and date guys and totally just have relationships with them for a month, I will totally admit that you can choose. But unless you could do that, I'm going to say that you're 100% wrong and your argument is based on completely fallacious grounds.
I have no clue. Because apparently people think that there has to be a mother and a father, and like the father does that and the mom stays at home cleaning.
I think it comes from the thought that whatever child should have a male and female perspective in their life.
A specific gender cannot be a boy can't be a mother figure or sensitive, and a girl can't be a father figure and tough.
Traditional thinking, they think that a child must have like two opposite genders to give like the classic nuclear family of like a mom and a dad. They're afraid that once again that sexual orientation is something you can catch or something you can change.
You would talk to your mom, maybe most of the times I guess, you would talk to your mom about boys or sex. So when people think like, oh, you only have two dads, who's going to talk to you about getting a period or boys or all that? And I think that's like the biggest opinion on that.
This doesn't actually have anything to do with parenting. This just has to do with the fact that they do not like gay people. If you don't like gay people, you don't want them to get married, you don't want them to have kids, you don't want them to exist in general. So that's why if you don't think they're going to be good parents, just so you know, you just don't like them. It's how it works. So you might as well just own up to it and skip the middleman. If you don't think gay people will be good parents, you might as well just admit to yourself that you don't think that they're good at anything. And we are.
Biggest issue is people's opinions about it. Like, it's not that there's laws missing in there. I mean, there are, but people who have such strong views against homosexuality and all that it's like deeply rooted in themselves. So like with racism, like there are laws now that protect like black people and like segregation's over and all that, but there's still racism out there.
Individual level. Don't have to go to gay pride marches every 5 seconds, or, incorporate gay advocacy, queer power into your morning routine by, protesting outside of your school for, non-unisex bathrooms. You don't have to do that. Just be cognizant of your actions and what actions you find yourself in. If your friend ends up going, oh my gosh, don't see that movie, it's super gay, be like, oh really, that's so interesting, what characters were gay? Just call out people if they're being homophobic. And you know what? They might not be doing it on purpose. There are all the times I even make assumptions right now where I go, oh, do you have a girlfriend? And I shouldn't even say that. I should say, do you have a partner?
It's such an other thing now, like even still, when it's much more acceptable in our generation, but it's still an other. It needs to be an inclusive thing, like, oh, you're gay, okay. Like, it's a regular thing.
Not to be so creeped out by it, like, don't put it as something taboo, because it's really not. It should just be, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I like boys, or I like girls, or I like both.
I think open-mindedness is a big key to accepting sexual orientation. Accepting the fact that not everybody is like you, which sounds very simple, but it's a lot harder than it seems.
Keep spreading awareness. I just think it's the lack of facts that people know, like how it doesn't affect, like, say, same-sex parenting, like it doesn't affect the kid. I don't understand why people think it affects them.
make people aware, and always be aware of yourself, because no one is perfect. Even if you are queer, you still make mistakes. Be aware of yourself, be aware of other people. That's all I'm asking you to do.